Welcome back to our Afternoon Express Cookalong. Tuesdays are all about the food and making delicious ingredients in the kitchen along with your family. Now, if you would like to get the full recipe list and ingredients, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. Today, we're focusing on the process of fermentation, what it means in the kitchen, how to go about fermenting your food, and more importantly, what it is good for. The health benefits are just beyond. So please do head over to our social media platforms and just engage with us throughout the show. Let us know how you feel about the process of fermentation and what it means to you and your family at home. But we do have our darling chef here who is helping us very, very in detail, I think, and that's what I appreciate because this is my first time doing anything of the sorts.
Absolutely, and I think what's so important for South Africans, people at home, is to see how these applications can just be done in anybody's home.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive, it's not difficult.
It's not a science project.
No. It can be if you want it to be, but it's not.
Now, Dumi, talking about all things heritage, what are you cooking up there?
Well, I'm also going back to basics, and we're using these fermentation tips and tricks and all of that to use them in our daily application at home. So I'm making one of my favorite things to have with anything. I know you mentioned what would you add. I can't add it to my cereal, but I definitely enjoy chakalaka. So I cannot go to a braai without chakalaka. I cannot enjoy vorsies without chakalaka. So we're making chakalaka today with the fermentation twist because we're going to put the chili that we made, that chili sauce, into that chakalaka and just take it levels on levels on levels. So I'm just busy chopping up my onion here. Going to go in with some cabbage, some carrots, green peppers, baked beans, all the things I love in a chakalaka, and then that addition of the chili sauce.
I'm going to make the frikkadels. That's also a very heritage food in South Africa. We love a frikkadel. I'm going to make frikkadels with a tomato sauce, the fermented tomato sauce we made earlier on. So I've got some minced meat here. Fresh mincemeat. I'm going to add like one chopped onion. One chopped onion. I'm going to add some garlic that I've just chopped while Tumi was busy. Some garlic.
And then, Anele, when it comes to flavouring and adding that spice to your mince, what's the ratio people should use? Because sometimes I overspice and I add too much salt into my mince.
You know what I suggest to people? For every 500 grams of mince, use 1 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
That's what I start with. That's it. So 500 grams, 1 teaspoon of salt.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I've got some onions, some herbs, some chutney. South Afrikaans is also chutney is the other thing. And I'm going to put about a tablespoon of that fantastic fermented tomato sauce in here. I'm going to chop some herbs, some chives, and I'm going to give it to you to fry off just now.
Stunning. So we've got our chakalaka, South Africa. We have got our frikkadels. So delicious. I'm so excited to taste that. But now I've got the blessing to put together this delicious pate. Now it's a Snoek Pate, talking about keeping things local and lekker. And we've definitely used that labna from earlier as what is going to be the mixing ingredient. Again, sticking to that fermentation theme. And for yourself?
We're going to be helping with the chakalaka and making it delicious. And then hereafter, we'll be going straight into the dessert.
Okay, I love that. South Africa, if you've got all of these ingredients in mind and you want to get cooking along with us, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za and you can get everything you need to make this delicious meal. Now, I don't know if South Africans saw what I did here. When I'm putting together my Snoek Pate, I just took the snoek. Oh, it looks delicious. And I wanted to take off the skin. So I just went in with my hands.
That's smoked snoek, eh?
Oh, it smells delicious.
It smells great.
Now, Zian, I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I just want to go more into detail with your speciality. Talking about indigenous foods, for yourself, what is the key thing that I think you've lost over the years?
I think we've become so, our palates have become so overridden with salt and sugar. And there's so many different ways and so many different flavors. We've stopped eating bitter foods, and a lot of the food from this landscape, it's very bitter. And it's so good for you to eat bitter foods, and it kickstarts the body in many different ways. So I like to, even to children, introduce different ways that you can experience these flavors and these tastes, and it becomes a lot of fun also.
Wow, I had no clue that bitter food, I just love bitter food because I'm not much of a sweet eater. So I do like the things that go at the back of your throat there.
And it awakens up your palate, doesn't it? Bitter awakens up my palate. It's the same as kimchi,
Yes,
What are you doing, Zion, now?
We're starting with the chakalaka because we want the onions to be a little bit translucent.
Okay.
So we've poured our oil in.
Oh, I'm already
Smell
starting
of
to
the onions,
cry.
eh? Is it, eh?
I've been crying tears of joy for a bit now.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay. This looks really good. The flavors are coming along together. Anele, we've been asking everyone on social media.
Yeah.
If you were to add any ingredients to your meal, please fill in that blank.
It's chilies.
Ah.
It's chilies. And I think between the two of us, you want salt, I want chilies. I think we've got a match made, hey?
A match made in heaven. Well, chilies, what I love about chilies is that it's so strong with vitamin C.
Yes. And the thing is, it also awakens your palate. You know, it's the same as bitters, salt, fermented foods and stuff like that. But you're also using the labne that we made with Bliss. eh?
Yes.
Remember, it's 10 nutrients in Bliss.
Wow,
Yeah.
in the Clover Bliss.
Yeah.
So you can
you're not-
imagine how much it kickstarts your immune system when you've got the benefits of the labna that's there, that's made from the Clover Bliss, that has 10 nutrients. And on top of that, we're basically showing fermentation, that process. So it's basically even good for you. We're making dishes that are delicious, but also still good for you with our Clover Bliss. And by the way, it comes in a couple of different flavors, so it's not just the plain. So you can indulge in any of the flavors that we use for Clover Bliss.
Delicious. So I'm just putting the fricadels on the pot, in the pan. The oil is perfectly heated. So I'm just going to get that cooking along.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Chef.
Helping you, Polly, here with the snook.
The Snoek Pate.
Yeah. I
So-
love snook pate. It's just so divine.
Everything going into my Snoek Pate are just the flavors that we love and that we appreciate. I mean, over here I've got, let me just put this down. Thank you, girl. I'm going to add the already chopped up snook into the rest of the batter. And then I'm going to take salt and pepper just to season it a little bit.
Always a bit of salt.
A little bit of salt and
A little bit
pepper.
of salt because if it's smoked, there's already a lot of salt in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is that labna that Chef made earlier, ne?
Exactly.
I'm going to add that into here, all of it. And then I also see that you've put some mayonnaise for me. Thank you. Add some mayonnaise, add on that creaminess that the labna gave us.
Richness.
And then whilst I'm chopping up, what's this, Anel?
Huh? Can I chop that off for you?
Yes.
Well,
and this is all going to go into my pate as well. Chef, on your side, how's it going?
So I got so excited that I started throwing in the vegetables when I should have done the spices first. But Kumi's busy chopping up the vegetables. Chakalaka is so simple. You literally chuck everything in together.
Yeah.
But the nice trick to make the flavors pop is that you want to wait until the onions are translucent and then you add the spices.
Yeah.
We've got some coriander powder, some cumin powder and some mild curry powder.
Delicious.
One of my favorites. And then at the end, we're going to add some of this that we've already made, this fermented chili sauce. And a question that often comes up is that once you've cooked fermented foods, don't you lose the probiotic potential? And the truth is, yes, you do. But if you add it at the end, once you've taken it off the heat, you can keep it or also use it as a dipping sauce.
Delicious.
That's another way to do it.
Happiness. Okay, South Africa, we are halfway through this scrumptious meal using fermented ingredients. So coming up, we're going to complete this masterpiece.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.